Welcome to Truth and Company Boxing Podcast. I'm your host, John the Truth Dioria, and today we have another segment of 20 random questions. And our guest today is professional boxer Earl Newman Jr. Welcome to the show, Earl.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for getting out of bed for me and coming on the show.
No problem. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, just before we start, what's going on with your career right now? Just to give the fans a little bit of insight.
So right now in my career, I'm actively participating in a league called Team Combat League, started by Ahmed Sheikh. And, it's a very cool concept in which, championship round boxing, like you used to the idea of the championship rounds, the 12th round. You go and give it everything you got. So instead of the traditional 10 to 12 round fighting, we're doing one round as a team. So it's like about a team of 18 rounds, and everybody has one round to go in there and give it all they got. So it's nothing but nonstop action. There's knockouts, and it's still boxing at the end of the day, but it's like the 12th round every round. So
yeah, I've been hearing more and more about this league. I've had a couple guys already on here that are in the league too, and they've talked about it, and it sounds pretty cool. I'm hoping that eventually they can find a network where they're going to be able to get it on there like ESPN or DAZN or something, so we can all sit back and watch how this league actually works.
Right. And, like I said, the concept is fun. It's refreshing, especially from the traditional thing with boxing. And I think it's going to catch fire. Of course, this is the first year it's happening, so of course everything takes time. But just this inaugural season is amazing. And the team that I'm a part of, the New York City Attitude, we are in the semifinals starting August 15th, and we're fighting against DC. And hopefully our team pulls through and wins the first championship. So it's a great league. I'm doing very well in it myself. We'll have great teammates. It's a great idea of like a team concept, like the NFL, the NBA. Each soldier goes out to battle. We're rooting for each other, and then say you have a good round, you bring the energy out for the next person. So it's just like a domino effect. So it's really cool. It's a really interesting, refreshing idea for boxing, and I hope that it carries over into the international market.
Nice, man. I hope this continues. Like I said, I'm anxious to see it get up on a network so that fans can actually watch it. I've been hearing quite a bit about it. Like I said, you're probably about the fifth or sixth boxer I've had on that's actually part of the league. So that it's really a cool concept that, like you said, it just started. It's starting to take off a little bit, and I'm just hoping that the fans gravitate towards it. And it's still boxing. It's just a little different twist on it, and it's kind of a cool concept. And it keeps the guys that aren't continuously getting fights, it keeps you guys active for if the fight does come up.
Right, because prior to this, my last fight was February in 2020, and inactivity is the bane of all fighters' existence. Basically any athlete, but especially fighting. So with the inactivity and you're thinking, okay, I'll go in there for one round, but still the mental prep, the training is all the same. You just go in there and you just unleash it out for one round. So I feel the more I was fighting in this, the more I felt more I was getting back into my fighting rhythm. Even though it was one around, just being in the gym consistently, working, slipping, just being all that keeps you sharp. So I really do love this league, and it's like about a 4-month season. So even though you are only fighting one round, training is training. So it's still grueling on the body. So we're here. The semifinals are here, and we're going to take the championship. That's the goal and mission.
Nice. Well, all right. You ready for these random 20 questions?
Yeah, shoot them at me, man.
All right. Question 1: how did you get involved in the sport of boxing?
Initially, so it was for weight loss back when I was younger. But I did have a natch. I was always athletic, and I did like watching boxing. My father watched boxing when I was a kid. I always remember watching Evander Holyfield get bitten off by Mike Tyson. And I could think, oh man, this guy's hungry. I was like about 4 or 5, you know. So I always had an interest in striking and combat sports. So that's what I gravitated towards. So once I graduated high school, I signed myself up to a boxing gym, and everything else is history.
Okay. Question 2. What boxers inspired you so far in your career?
My idol growing up was Roy Jones. As you know, his flamboyancy, his charisma, everything about it was just like, just kept my attention. So I loved Roy Jones Jr. I actually have a signed glove by Roy Jones right here. You know, you can see
Nice.
it. Like, he
Oh,
personally signed it for my birthday, so I have the signature. And as heavyweights, I really do like, people typically, me be from Brooklyn, New York, you would think is Mike Tyson, but I actually do like Riddick Bowe. Riddick Big Daddy Bowe. I really like Riddick Bowe. And you know, I just Riddick Bowe, Roy Jones, and I will also say one more to top it off. I'm gonna have to still say Floyd.
Okay, and that's Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Right.
For people that don't know. All right, question 3. If you could be any superhero, who would it be and why?
Well, funny you say that. When I first started boxing, they used to call me the Flash. They call me the Flash.
I do remember that.
Yeah, so I do like the Flash, but any superhero now in my in my adult years, I would say I would like to be Wolverine.
Okay, and why is that?
Growing up as a kid, I always had every Wolverine figure and everything, and I don't know, just his aggressiveness, but he also is a protector at the same time. So he's very aggressive. He's a beast, basically almost invincible, and everything. But at the end of it all, he definitely did care about the people that he rode for. So I look at myself as that, like whoever I ride for, I'll protect it to the end. And funny enough, I named my first child Logan. His name is Logan.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, question 4. Do you have any boxing superstitions?
Superstitions? This one's debatable. Like, everybody has their own when it comes to like, sex before a fight, So I'll before when I first started, I would follow through with that. But maybe my mind has shifted off of that. I think it's all more mental than what it is. But I definitely do also feel like, not having I don't know. Now when I think about it, we don't have that much superstitions. I really think that whatever work you put in, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I don't really have any superstitions except like the sex before a fight. I wouldn't have sex directly the day of a fight. I wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, question 5. Who's the one fighter that you've never gotten to fight in your career that you really wanted to fight?
Well, back when I was fighting at light heavyweight, there was somebody named Ahmed El Bialy. I wanted to fight Ahmed El Bialy. I felt he was like a strong, formidable opponent. We had a couple of opponents that were the same, So I just wanted to fight against him. The fight never came to fruition. Eventually, I thought that maybe once I got to the ranks, I was going to fight Sergey Kovalev at one point in time. Yeah, so Sergey Kovalev was initially one of my goals. I met El Bialy as a bridge, for two contenders fighting. And maybe now at this point in time, maybe as a cruiserweight, or maybe even as a bridgeweight, because I know they have bridgeweight divisions. Yeah, I could probably fight the cruiserweight champion, maybe Badu Jack, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Question 6. What's something that your boxing fans don't know about you?
Okay, so first things off, I am a musician. I play piano since I was 7 years old. I used to travel the country and play for like different like choirs and different bands and stuff. So I used to like really like before I used to travel boxing, I used to travel for being a pianist. Um, I taught myself guitar, and just all in all, I guess I love to travel, love to eat, I love my family.
Okay. Question 7. Tell me about your background and your upbringing a little bit before boxing.
Before boxing, I lived with my father and my mother. I have two brothers, one sister. I feel like we are a pretty close knit family. Um, my parents are from Jamaica, so we grew up with like the idea of hard work. You know, um, but all in all, I feel like I have like a good foundation when it comes to my family. Like everybody's close knit. We all look out for each other, and that's where my sense of like with Wolverine, I ride for my needs, my family. Like I really have strong ties to my family.
Okay. Question 8. If you could go on a date with any celebrity, who would it be?
Nobody, because my girlfriend is my celebrity.
Good save on that one. All right, 9. If you could have dinner with any 4 people in the world, dead or alive, celebrities, people from history, anybody, who would be at your dinner table?
At my dinner table, dead or alive. I'm going to say Tupac Shakur. Um, hmm. Tupac Shakur, Malcolm X. Those are two dead people. Rest in peace to them. But I feel like they're very, very influential in their own way towards like my culture and like the progression of like African Americans in their way. Um, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and and even though I did get that glove signed by Roy Jones, it was gifted to me, so I definitely would like to be seated with Roy Jones also.
Okay. All right. Question 10. What is the craziest or the funniest story that ever happened between you and a boxing fan?
A boxing fan. Hmm.
Anything stick out to you?
This one's a little funny, but I'm going to say, hmm, this one might be, babe. I love my girlfriend. If you see this, I love you. But like my second pro fight, like after I fought, somehow like there was like a sticky note taped to my door with a pair of underwear saying "call me."
On your locker
After
room door?
no, on my hotel room door. I know how they got my hotel room. Yeah, and I was just like, okay, just keep the panties off, But yeah.
There was no phone number with the
No,
panties?
oh no, there was a sticky note on the door, and then the panties were on the door now. Now it's like, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a true fan there.
Right.
All right. Question 11. If you could have a boxing match with any fighter in history, alive or dead, who would your ultimate fight be against?
Hmm. I would say I'm gonna give two answers for alive and dead. Right? Alive, I would say for some reason I would give Canelo. I would give Canelo. Um, and somebody who passed away, and like we're talking about weight classes and everything. It's a fantasy matchup, but oddly enough, I still would like to do Diego Corrales, Diego Chico Corrales. I really
Okay.
admire everything he's done for the sport while he was alive. And like nothing beats that fight when he fought Castillo. That comeback that sticks in my mind. That was before I started boxing, but I always remember that. That's like that. It's like a movie script, you know. So somebody with heart like that, I would love to like duke it out with him.
Nice. That was a nice answer. All right, question 12. If you won the lottery, $100 million, what would you do first?
Pay off all the bills. Pay off all the bills. Pay off, like like I said, like my family will be fine. There will be we will not owe anything. But outside of that, I will take a great family vacation. I feel like everybody deserves that. It will be good for everybody to just unwind and just everybody exist and be happy. Have a vacation, and after that, I'll just like invest. Invest. But oddly enough, even if I was to win $100 million, I still would pursue boxing with the vigor I have now because it just brings me internal peace. It would just alleviate the fact that I have to make money, but I would just be able to do it now for pleasure. But I'll still train just as hard as I do. I still will fight.
Okay. All right, question 13. If you could have a conversation with one person in history, who would it be?
I'm gonna give two. I know you're asking for one, but I'm gonna give two.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Like I said before, I have a conversation with Malcolm X, and then also Nelson Mandela.
That's good answers. All right, question 14. If you could use a time machine one time, what period would you go back to?
A time period. Okay. Not exactly a time in my life, a time period.
Yep.
All right. I would go back to I don't know. I will go back to the 80s because I'm a 90s baby, but so I still like my era, but I still feel like some of the golden era was still in the 80s itself. That's just me personally. I feel like the 80s. That's as far back as I will go.
Okay. Question 15. Do you have any phobias?
No, I don't. I don't have any phobias. Okay. Like I live my life like it is what it is. Like everything's kind of like preordained in this way. So I don't have any phobias of anything like that. I'm not scared of the dark. Not scared of heights. No.
Okay, question 16. If you could work with any trainer in boxing, what trainer would you want to work with?
Sugar Hill Stewart. Sugar Hill. Like I done a few camps with him, helping out Adonis Stevenson for a few fights, and I have a personal relationship with him. He's a great guy, a great IQ for boxing, and I guess he's the nephew of Emmanuel Stewart. But I just I like to build connections with people. So personally, I really resonate with Sugar Hill. So Sugar Hill will be like the trainer that will work with.
Okay, question 17. Who was the hardest puncher you've ever faced in the ring, in a fight, or sparring?
In a fight, Efetabor Apochi. He's a cruiserweight. I think he's from Nigeria. I think he's Nigerian. That's the hardest punch I've ever been in there with. Yes, hands down. That was a great fight him and I had. I didn't come out on the winning end, but all in all, we gave the fans a great fight. And Efetabor Apochi, if you're watching this, just know we got to run that one back.
All right. And question 18. What's your best boxing memory so far in your career?
In my career, I would say I have a couple. One was when I fought in the undercard in my pro career. It's when I fought in the undercard of the Spence versus Algieri, and I fought in my hometown in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. And I caught a knockout. I knocked the guy out, and it was just like everything about it just showed true professionalism. The way I baited him in, the way how I broke him down throughout the fight. I felt like that was like one of my defining moments as a professional fighter. As an amateur, was when I won the National Golden Gloves. I I came onto the scene unknown in the amateurs, and I fought fight after fighter that was known throughout the ranks who's been there for years. And I made it to the finals against a knockout puncher named Joshua Temple, and peeped up. Basically, the whole arena bet against me to get knocked out. Push come to shove, I outboxed him, and I ended up pushing him backwards toward the end of the fight. And then I won, and then I cried after winning the championship. You know.
Okay. All right, question 19. If you could invite any boxer, past or present, over to watch a big fight, like a pay-per-view fight with you, who would you choose to sit down and watch a big fight with?
Somebody who I can tolerate throughout the whole process talking, that I know will have great insight, will be Roy Jones, because I feel like Roy Jones, every time I watch him commentate for HBO or something like that, and he will commentate, and as a fighter, you understand certain setups and the way somebody's getting broken down, and it's basically like he predicted everything like before it happened. Like he will say, "Oh, I see the person going down a couple of times. He might come over the top," and then boom, the person comes over the top because he understands the setup. So you just like while watching the fight, you kind of ignore the announcer, like the commentators, but you're just listening to him speak and just actually like basically watch it, and he's predicting what happens because you understand that he's done it before and he can see everything. So I would love to hear him speak. I would love to for Roy Jones to be commentating again. He's one of the best commentators in my opinion, next to Andre Ward. There's another fighter. I don't really care for Lennox Lewis commentating that much, but I do like Sean Porter. George Foreman for sure. Or George Foreman, yeah, him too. So you know what? It'll be a toss-up between George Foreman and Roy Jones. Yeah, I might as well have them both.
That'd be a heck of a party, man. Just to have Roy Jones
Right.
and George Foreman sitting on your couch with you watching a pay-per-view fight. That'd be interesting.
For sure.
All right. Question 20. Do you think you'd ever try bare knuckle boxing?
I've joked about this with a couple of my teammates the other day. But to be honest, no, I don't think that the risk is worth the reward, because we're already risking our life with boxing alone. And I just look at the potential injuries of this bare knuckle and punching somebody's teeth and the lacerations that you could possibly get. And it's like I don't think you're rewarded as much for that. So no. I look at it more as like a barbaric way of fighting, and that's more so a barbaric way of fighting. Yes, it's entertaining, but for somebody who's grinded their way for over a decade, I wouldn't do that. I would stick to traditional fighting. I would try MMA though.
Okay.
I would try MMA.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming on the show and having fun with the 20 questions. I hope none of them were too much, of thinkers. You seem to have some really great answers. So before we get off the show, if you want to shout out any sponsors or say anything to the fans or announce anything, go ahead.
All right, so my name is Earl Newman Jr. from Brooklyn, New York. I am a heavyweight fighting in the Team Combat League, and check myself and my team out August 15th. You can check us out on Instagram, and then we'll send all the links and everything for where the combat will happen. And this is an exciting league, and thanks for tuning into the show.
All right, and with that, the truth has spoken.